Hi guys, welcome back to another video on the Q3FY25 updates. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the lighting space. Okay, so before we go into the lighting companies, there are two main companies over here. One is Focus Lighting and the other is Ikio Lighting. We will first talk about the entire industry, okay, because that is a very common narrative, between both the companies, right? Like how the demand is like, how can we segregate the industries and so forth and so on. Okay, so the first thing, how do we segregate over here? Like what does exactly lighting industry comprise of? Now when you look at lighting industry, there are two main divisions over here. Okay, one is the kind of companies that are making your lights which we use in our day-to-day lives, like aapka LED ka light, tube light and all of it, right, which we use every day, right, in our homes. That is one. Okay, and yahan pe bahut sara competition hai and everything. And over here kya ho raha hai na, the problem with this first category of the light that is there, the problem here is, from I think it's been more than like a couple of years, more than that in fact, over here यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, one of the main problem is the Chinese का lights, the China manufactured lights that are there. Since they are they are so affordable and everything, it is flooded in the market. Now in this category of division where you are making this LED lights and all of the light bulbs and everything, यहाँ पे demand कम है but supply ज़्यादा है, ठीक है? Like everybody is making this. In fact, over here in this particular divisions, when you see lights, right, it's not just Focus and Ikio Lighting. Even in your listed space, you will see a lot of this cable and wire company also catering to this, like Havells का light and switch division है, Polycab का भी lights का division है, RR Cable also light का division. So there are many companies over here, not just specifically light companies, but also like whoever in the other division also, they have a small set over here who are manufacturing these lights. Okay, now think about it. Pehle, like already there is so much supply, but the demand is less. Then what will happen over here? आपका price का erosion होता है ना. Okay, so first of all volume growth नहीं है यहाँ पे, and on top of that क्या हो रहा है, value growth भी हो value का degrowth हो रहा है, ठीक है? Why? Because think about this. Let's say a market leader is Philips over here. I'm giving an example, okay? And here if they take a price cut, then everybody will also have to take a price cut, right? Because it's a very commercial product. Nobody has a brand. Even if you have a brand, think about it. Whenever you're going to get this LED का light या आपका कुछ भी ट्यूब लाइट लेने जाते हो, you don't care about कि like कौन सा brand you want to buy. You care about क्या, is it a particular watt, like 30 watts, 40 watts. You care about that more than, let's say, कौन सा company, this entire light, who is getting manufactured, कौन सा brand है. Because the entire light industry, especially in the first category, is a very commoditized market, extremely commoditized. यहाँ पे pricing growth मिलना बहुत बहुत मुश्किल है, ठीक है? It's impossible, I can tell you. Okay, next to impossible. And on top of that, when your volume growth is gone because the demand में इतना कुछ problem आ रहा है, then obviously you can imagine in the first category, the immense problem, right? Volume growth भी नहीं है, value का भी degrowth हो रहा है. All the problems you can imagine are happening in the first division. Now comes to the second division. What is the second division? Second division are those kind of light, they're not your normal aapka LED, like you might see, right, we can call it as studio lights, or this fashionable lights. Basically the lights that we use in our homes, right? Let's say if in your living room, you put that centerpiece of light. I'm forgetting the name, I don't know what it is called, but that light, or the lights that we use, these showrooms, like example aap car ka showroom mein ja sakte ho, yeah, you go for a clothing, like let's say Nike, Adidas, Muji and all of these companies. You see, right, they have a very a set of light which makes the clothes look better, like that factor, that lighting is very important. So these kind of lights, or the lights that is used big stadiums, aapka temples mein ho sakta hai, a bigger project, airports and all of that, infrastructure, infra ka project mein hota hai. This is the second type of light. Okay, now yahan pe is light mein kya hota hai? One is, the problem is obviously even in this also China ka hai, but China ka, like in see, think about it, unlike your home mein, it is not easy, right? Aap ek bulb ko change karo. When you talk about studio lights and all, where we are using in this big infra projects and everything, here problem kya hai? It needs to be durable, because you're spending so much on a project. Here the problem with the Chinese light is, it is affordable but unka quality acha nahi hai, theek hai? So ultimately that goes out of the toss. Your second option is to use this German technology, European technology, but wahan pe kya problem hai? Although they are very good in quality and everything, the major problem over here is the price point. So we have companies such as Focus and Ikio Lighting over here, especially Focus Lighting, who cater to this problem over here. कि like यहाँ पे we will give you the best of the German technology, but we will give you at a very affordable price. ठीक है? So that is the entire thing. But यहाँ पे in this entire studio lighting, inframer and everything, the problem over here also it is the same thing, because we've had this year, we've had elections, we've had as a result, a lot of these projects that are there get delayed. See, in this second category, it is mostly catering towards your B2B businesses, right? Like business, you're catering to the other businesses, right? So यहाँ पे order के हिसाब से काम चलता है. So let's say if the order is not getting, is not passing through, या execution नहीं हो रहा है, then as a result आपका यहाँ पे, even though the demand is good, if the order is getting delayed, it will not get reflected into sales. ठीक है? So this is more or less of the landscape, or कि क्या हो रहा है in terms of demand condition, in terms of lighting space. Now we will go to each and every individual Focus and Ikio Lighting. But before that, if you want to understand in one line what is happening in the lighting industry, and you don't want to waste your, I wouldn't say waste your time, but if you do not want to sit through and understand why something is wrong over here, what is happening, then know that stay away from lighting industry. That is one line I can give you the analysis कि भाई यहाँ से कितना दूर हो सकता है उतना दूर आप जाओ, ठीक है, as an investor. That is something that I can tell you. But now coming here, if you're keen to understand, because if somebody, you can't just tell कि अरे यहाँ पे problem है तो मैं यहाँ से दूर भाग रहा हूँ, right? You can't tell that also. If somebody is asking you, you have to give them logic as to क्यों, why Focus Lighting या Ikio Lighting में कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, and why यहाँ पे what are the problems, if you want to understand. So पहले बात करते हैं Focus Lighting का, ठीक है? Focus Lighting का अगर आप देखते हो, there are 4 main divisions, ठीक है? उनका retail का एक division है, होम का एक डिवीजन है. रिटेल का मतलब the lights that you use in all these different showrooms such as BMW हो सकता है, या Nike, Adidas and all of that is the retail part. Then the home part, which we use in home, we need some very fancy lights in home, maybe lights like आपका controllable lights which you happen through the phone. I've done a detailed video on Focus by the way explaining all of this, you can watch that. And then there is infrastructure, basically let's say आपका airport में, temples में आपको कुछ lights लगाना होता है. And then the last one is railways. These days railways are Indian railways, they're improving a lot, they're using, so that is the other part of it. Okay, the 4 main parts over here. Now earlier when Focus Lighting came, if you all remember, I think just even I don't remember when, I believe in 2022 or 2020, yeah, I think 2022, not 2023, I don't know, but they were a very high growth engine. Okay, like I still remember they were growing at 50% age, and so forth in that rate. I think there was, before the share ka split had happened, I believe there was one time, I think in just a quarter, the share had literally ran from probably 500 to 1000 or something, in just a span of a quarter. Okay, so this, and why did that happen? At that time, if you see, Focus was growing at a very fast pace, order acha tha, they were able to execute the order and everything. But coming right now, you see, this company, it has made a complete turn, complete switch. It went from a high growth engine to no growth at all. In fact, the growth is not at all there. Okay, so they went, being a 50% growth engine, versus is Q3 mein, if you see, sales has degrown. Sales has literally degrown by 27%. अगर आप PAT देखते हो, PAT तो है ही नहीं. Last Q3 में they had a PAT of around 9.6 crores, and this time in this Q3 it is a loss, literally loss है. I mean had 2 lakhs of loss they have posted over here. So it just goes to show you कि कितना important है business tracking करना, and इसलिए that I keep telling that you have to keep tracking businesses, because no businesses continues to be good, no businesses continues to be bad. There will always be a cycle, and you have to be in that cycle when the businesses are performing good, because you're an investor, right? And you have to be opportunistic, as much as possible. And that is why that is what we teach you in the investment checklist workshop कि ये businesses को कैसे track करते हैं, how do you track these businesses, what are the things you need to look for, what are the things you need to see, what changes and everything. I'll put the link to the registration link for the workshop, you all can have a look at it. But anyways, coming back over here, so why has this degrowth happened? Okay, because Focus, if you look at it, they work on a model as to they don't have an order book or anything. When the order comes, they'll be able to materialize. So unka jo bhi order tha, let's say one is that airport ka order which they have in Bombay, there is probably a delay in it, God knows. They earlier told they want to go into trading, that will happen. That is also not happening. In the beginning of the con call, when they started doing con call, they told they will start working with with Indian Railways and they're waiting, to become a recognized partner over there. Even that has not happened, so every single parameter unka sara ka sare division mein jo hai na, every single time there is a delay, right? Nothing is getting materialized, and that is exactly why you see, ki like, jo numbers say, it is the way it is. And one more thing over here I have to highlight. I think this is the first time that the company has neither, given a PPT or a con call. Like, I mean, result itna bura hai ki like management ne ki like haath upar khada kar diya, and it's like, we will never do it. Okay, so overall I would say probably this is like literally like, the worst case over here a company can have. Focus is going through it. Then the second company that we'll be doing is Ikio Lighting. Now Ikio और focus में थोड़ा difference है. Like I told you, focus caters to the second category of the light more. Ikio, if you look at it, they cater to both first category as well as the second category. Okay, so 55% of the revenue, right, for Ikio, almost 50% of the revenue comes from, being a ODM to this light making companies. What is the meaning of ODM? Original Design Manufacturer. इसका मतलब क्या है? आप डिजाइन कर रहे हो, आप मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे हो, आप पार्ट्स को ला रहे हो, सब आपका काम है. फ्रॉम कलेक्टिंग द रॉ मटेरियल फॉर दिस लाइट टिल द एंड प्रोडक्ट, लाइट को बनाने में वो आपका जिम्मेदारी है. एंड यू विल सेल इट टू अदर ब्रांड्स. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, जस्ट एन एग्जांपल मैं बोल रही हूँ, लाइक लेट्स से फिलिप्स, सिस्का एंड ऑल ऑफ दिस brands that are there, na, consumer brands, you will sell it to them and they will unka brand ka chipka ke, you're basically a contract manufacturer, or the companies would have outsourced the manufacturing to you, and you will take care of the entire value chain. So this is one part of the business. The second part of the business is they also make, other than making this light bulbs, LED lights and tube lights and all of these things, they also make, aapka refrigerator mein, you will see na, there is a light, these kind of lights, solar panels and all, your USB ka charges, all of these things also they make. Recently they've also gotten into, I would say, just in this couple of quarters, they've gotten into, manufacturing of, various electronic items such as aapka headphones, earphones, all of these things also they've gotten. They're trying to diversify their business as much as possible. Okay, so this is the business model. Okay, over here also, if you look at it, like I told you, these people cater to whom? Both the first category as well as the second category. दोनों category को cater करता है. And first category हमने में क्या discuss किया? इतना competition है, volume growth तो छोड़ो, यहाँ पे price का भी erosion हो रहा है. So think about it. If someone like Philips and Cisco, जो आपका customer है, I'm not telling Ikio का customer is Philips and Cisco, but trying to give you a big picture over here. If your customer only is facing at the end of the day problems, if they are only not able to sell anything, then you as a manufacturer to your customer, आप कैसे अच्छे करोगे, right? So this is a major problem over here with Ikio Lighting. Like I told you, 50% comes by making all this, ODM ka things for the light, right? And since the customer's business has degrown over here and the entire demand is very subdued, as a result, unka ye 50% ka jo business hai, from where it comes, 50% of the business, this huge part of the business has taken a hit. It has degrown. That is why you see the sales hardly grew by 4%, and PAT jo hai, PAT degrew by 60%. ठीक है? That is the major reason over here. The other reason for why the PAT has degrown over here so much is because these people have started, they are doing a lot of capex right now. So they are in the Noida में उनका एक plant है where they are putting up, additional capacities, like greenfield कर रहा है. They are constructing block 1, block 2, block 3. Block 1 was already constructed in the last year in May of 2024. Block 2 में अभी अभी भी it is in the construction phase. Probably in Q2 या Q3 of next year, that is FY26, it will be done. Block 3 is yet to commence. Okay, so due to this immense capex that they are doing, right, due to this capex में क्या हो रहा है, depreciation cost आपका high and everything. As a result over here, because of that, उनका और भी the PAT has taken even bigger hit. ठीक है? That is another thing. But the biggest red flag over here with Ikio Lighting is, in the beginning of the year in Q1 they told that for this year they're targeting that 20 to 25% of growth in top line, and unka EBITDA margin would be somewhere around 22%. But in Q3 ka con call they came and they told कि like we are revising our guidance on the lower end. You can expect for this year probably a 13 to 15% kind of growth. I don't think 13 to 15%. Sorry, I think it is 12 to 14% kind of growth, and probably even margins also somewhere around that range. Probably they won't be able to do the 22% kind of margin. Why? Because the same thing manager bola, right, कि like wo entire demand is subdued, and management was also quite frank कि like let's say the ODM business didn't even grow, if it was even a flat business, वहाँ पे growth ही नहीं आ रहा था, even then we could have probably done like that 20% का guidance that we had told. Okay, and if it had grown by a single digit, the ODM businesses, then we would have done at least a 25 to to 27% in that kind. But unfortunately, since the ODM part of the business, where they are making, the lights, they are manufacturing the lights for other people's companies or other brands, this has literally taken a huge degrowth over here. Like the entire demand is so subdued, right? And that is what is, that made them, like revise the guidance on the lower end. And see, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, आपका guidance, has been lowered, let's say by, let's say 100 crores, yeah, by a few basis points, yeah, it is a huge, like 10% reduction in guidance. It really doesn't matter. Guidance को हटाया, pace of growth कम हुआ, anything that happens in these two, it is a huge red flag for the investor, because you're indirectly telling कि like आगे जाके growth कम होगा. So earlier you were, earlier क्या होगा, so for that same earlier probably the valuation was cheaper for that growth rate earlier ka guidance. Now kya hota hai, when the guidance is reduced, the valuation becomes expensive na, because the company is not growing at that same rate it used to do. Because a lot of people couldn't wrap their head around, I think a common example I can give you is the Keynes technology. I think I could be wrong with the numbers, but I think the earlier guidance was 3000 crore and they revised it to 2800 crore. Like I could be wrong, but something around that. सिर्फ 200 करोड़ का गाइडेंस उन्होंने घटाया था, बट इट रियली डजंट मैटर आप 200 करोड़ का गाइडेंस घटाते हो या आप 1000 करोड़ का गाइडेंस घटाते हो. द फैक्ट दैट यू रिवाइज द गाइडेंस ओनली इटसेल्फ इज अ बिग रेड फ्लैग. एंड वी आल्सो एज इन्वेस्टर्स हैव टू टेक दिस, कि like understand, कि like okay, there is a, see, no business is a straight line. It's like this, right? It's a curve, right? And when it happens like this, like a sine wave या cos wave की तरह जब वो होता है, it is your duty when the changes happen that you change your decisions accordingly. You can't blame the management. You won't, me and you can't tell कि like कल जाके हमारा life कैसा होगा. We plan on everything, right? आज जाके I have a plans of doing that and this, but anything can happen. So that is the thing. World is very dynamic. We live in a very unpredictable environment, and when things change like this, your investment decision should also change accordingly. You can't blame the management, because it is your money, it is your duty to you do the needful that is there. Okay, so that is the thing with the entire lighting का industry. ठीक है, दोनों light companies are not doing well. एक का तो पूरा degrowth हो रहा है, and there, I mean, इतना degrowth हो रहा है कि like that company doesn't even want to come and face the investors. Whatever the promises they made in the beginning of the year also, we do not even know if it is going to get executed. Like for example, focus का मैं बात कर रही हूँ, right? All the projects that are there, it looks like it has not been executed for this year. And on the other hand, if you look at Ikio Lighting का भी वही है. The demand condition is so bad over here that the business, the main part of the business is degrowing. As a result, the company had to come and revise the guidance on the lower end over here. Okay, and we do not know कि like FY26 में क्या होगा, but the fact that they've revised the guidance for this year itself is a a bit of a negative news, right? Not a bit, it is a negative news. So that's it with both the companies and the lighting space. Bye.